When you buy and hold gold, you are taking your wealth to the next level, a concept that most cannot grasp. I'll explain why in this video as we explore. Gold. It does not pay dividends. It just sits there. Well, in this case, it's going to do more than just sit. We're going to spin our wheels talking about gold today because it is the metal that has really surpassed time and epochs, generations, nation states. And that enduring quality of gold is something that is quite remarkable. A lot of people don't understand that concept either. But you know, when you have gold in your portfolio, you typically want to find out about what it means to have the metal. My friend Silver Heist is doing the same thing with silver as well and explaining that situation. But gold really is a metal that has really stood out the test of time because central banks around the world right now are holding gold. Yes, indeed. And that is taking it to the next level, elevating it, if you will. That's right. That is the tagline for Summit Metals, to elevate your wealth. And yes, gold plays a critical role in that. And I am in the process of trying to fill up this little wallet with these little gram bars. And anybody can get in on gold at that level with gram bars. They're a lot cheaper option, even with the premiums. It does make it a really nice, comfortable way to get into the metal and be able to see a thing of beauty, an endearing quality that gold does have. Yes, indeed. Now, we know that for those of us who hold it, who have done our research on it, I think that's very important before you put your money, your hard-earned money, into something that some consider an investment, to find out why it's not an investment. That's right. And this is a form of money that you're transferring to a different form of money. And that's the first concept that people have to understand about gold. It is indeed money, but it's a different type of money. It is what is referred to as sound money. That's right. It sits there and it preserves your wealth over the long course of time. That's what it's about. Gold holders recognize that fiat currencies can lose value over time due to inflation. We're seeing that play out right now. The CPI numbers for inflation, which is the official numbers, we know it's a lot more in many different cases, is 3% now. It's come down from its high of 9.1%, but still, it is devaluing over time. That is unsound money. Now, it's still recognized as a transfer of assets. You can use it for transactions to dollar, and you can use it to buy gold. But nonetheless, gold itself is what is referred to as commodity money or sound money. But nonetheless, central banks hold it. So the central banks have been accumulating it since 2022 at a record pace, a pace that we've not seen in the last 50 plus years. It's pretty amazing. Gold has maintained purchasing power for thousands of years, acting as a store of value when paper money falters. And we're seeing that happen right before our eyes right now. And that's something that gold stackers understand. During times of high inflation like in the 1970s, and even what we've seen for the past 5 years or so, gold prices often rise as currencies weaken. In fact, gold's price has recently broke through the all-time high, even when adjusted for inflation. So if you bought gold when the prices were about half of what they are now, you're doing very good. Or when it was, about $300 an ounce, and some of the gold that you see on your screen here was purchased very close or near to that price. It's pretty crazy. That just goes to show you that gold really does hold its own. And it does because you own the gold that you hold. And that's a crucial point because it's about through the length of time, through the long run. That's where gold really does shine, per se. Now, unlike stocks and bonds or even digital assets, physical gold is something you can literally hold in your hand. You can take this and feel the weight of the metal in your hand. And there's nothing like feeling a full ounce of gold in your hand as you hold it. It really does elude that sense of power and weight and just something that's constant. It's pretty amazing. Holders understand the risks of counterparty exposed in financial systems. Banks can fail, brokers can go bankrupt, and accounts can be frozen. But owning coins, bars, and rounds of gold means no reliance on third parties. The only party that is involved is you. That's single party risk, which means you need to do your best to keep it safe. And this is why it's good to be smart and prudent when you buy gold, because it's a lot of value packed in a very small space. I encourage you to have multiple levels of security in your home, and or if you have the option, as I do, to store it in multiple locations so that you remove yourself as a target in your home. But nonetheless, gold is something that should be protected, and it should be valued, and it should be understood for what it has been for thousands of years. Now, it's another way also for folks to consider, as you do invest in other areas, to diversify. And many people don't think about diversification. You know, we live in such a digital age, and we want to talk about making money, but you think about what happens when the stocks go down. It's good to have the comfort of having something that has played very well as a diversification tool in investment portfolios. And when you understand as well the fact that it has been money for thousands of years, and that when you hold it, especially depending on how you buy it, with regards to cash sales and the like, really there's no paper trail. And there's a lot of gold that I bought where there is no paper trail. And even as such, holding it in your possession really does protect your privacy and portability. It's pretty amazing. Honestly, you have stacks of these, even if it's a $100 bill, it takes up a lot of space, and it also loses value just by holding it. But gold doesn't do that. And that is pretty remarkable. And that is something that a lot of people just don't understand, because they look at the markets and they see, oh, gold is up today, gold is down today. Well, and this channel talks about those kinds of movements from day to day, oftentimes. But the overall fundamental concept of what gold means is that we measure our wealth in ounces, not in the dollars. In other words, what they're valued as based off the price in the market. Because there's more to gold than just its price, folks. It is a long-standing metal that has stood the test of time throughout history. And the historic precedent and long-term perspective is really key to understanding how amazing gold is. It's been money for thousands of years, from civilizations spanning from ancient Egypt into China, all the way through to modern times. Holders often study history and see patterns where empires rise and fall, but gold has endured. And not only has it endured during geopolitical events throughout history, it has endured physically throughout history too. And ancient treasures have been found where everything else has decayed around them, but the gold has stood and shined through as if it was buried, just was put into the ground yesterday. It's pretty amazing. They avoid the recency bias of assuming current systems are permanent, preparing for potential shifts like de-dollarization and global economic resets. And sooner or later, that's probably going to happen with the dollar and our currency system. All fiat currencies eventually die. And like it or not, even though the dollar is the most dominant currency out there, it will eventually die. And it is dying at this moment in time. With every revolution of this turntable, this is losing value, but gold is maintaining its value. And really, that is something else that a lot of people don't understand, because given history and given what has been going on around the world, gold has provided psychological and emotional security beyond economics. Holding physical gold provides a sense of control and peace of mind. In volatile world events, wars, pandemics, political instability, gold holders feel prepared. And central banks know this because they have been buying it at a record pace since 2022, precisely for the reasons that I just mentioned. And aside from that, and even more importantly, according to the Central Bank of Central Bankers, gold has been designated as a Tier 1 asset, putting it equal to and on par with cash reserves, including the dollar. So, not only that, but you take it a step further and look throughout history. Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution recognizes gold and silver indeed as money. And the Bible mentions gold and silver hundreds of times. So it's pretty amazing. It is a metal that I believe, even more so than silver, has proven itself to be a stable store of value. And that stability, I think, is important for stackers like me who have, since 2017, made a marked choice to shift most of my concentration into gold. And right now, sitting here in 2025, I feel like I made the right decision. And I believe that all silver stackers should consider having some gold in their portfolio as well. It's a pretty amazing thing, gold is, and hopefully more and more of the general public will understand that and will come to accept what gold has been for thousands of years and maybe start to hold some gold for themselves. So there you go. Now, my friends at Summit Metals, they do sell some gold, and you can buy it in various different forms. Check them out in the link in the description below. But also just consider and do your own research on gold to understand how amazing the metal is and what it has done throughout history and how it has preserved wealth. To me, it's an open and shut case, but there's still a lot of people that just don't understand that. But hopefully they will, maybe after seeing this video. So make sure to check out Silver Heist's video about why silver stackers understand what silver stackers understand that most people don't. With that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.